What's up, everybody? This is Mario, and I'm back with another episode of Talking Endurance and Mastery. And today, what I want to talk about is my brand new poster that I just got today. I want to tell you the story behind it, and then I want to tie it back to you. And I just want to ask this question of what is an image that reminds you what you're capable of? What's an image that reminds you of your greatness? So that is what we're going to get into today. I'm going to roll the trailer and then we're going to get into it. Do you want to complete an endurance event and elevate all areas of your life, but you don't know where to start? Then you're in the right place. Talking Endurance and Mastery is a podcast to help you create a vision and take steps towards your goals and dreams. I'm your coach, Mario Minner. I've completed events like Ironmans and ultramarathons, but I believe the true benefit from endurance events is how they help you become the best version of yourself. Join me as I share stories, lessons, and interview guests to help you apply endurance and mastery principles into every area of your life. Are you ready? Let's go. All right, so a few weeks ago, I recorded episode number 300 and I checked the podcast rankings, and that's when I saw it. I saw that this podcast, Talking Endurance and Mastery, was now a top 10% podcast in the whole world. And this was a huge accomplishment. I felt so much gratitude. I felt so much joy, and it was a big confidence boost. But if you've ever experienced this before, that sometimes with new levels of success come new, levels of challenges and self-doubt. And there's just kind of this concept of new level, new devil. And around the same time that I had found out that I was a top 10% podcast, there were some changes at work. My boss actually got fired. I got promoted and was taking on a lot more responsibility. So I'm starting to take on more responsibility at work. I'm starting to, get some traction with my podcast, top 10% in the whole world. I'm starting to get started with new clients and get existing clients ready for races. And then also, I'm getting closer to my own training. And so, with all of these just different things going on, it started to become a lot for me to manage. And I started to get really overwhelmed with all of it. Because as I was talking to my personal coach, Pam, she's somebody that I've been working with for the past 3 years, and we talk through kind of what my goals are. We talk through my what's going on in my life. We talk through my mindset. I realized that a lot of my stress was coming from all of these different things that were all happening at the same time. And I kind of had this underlying feeling of I can't handle all of this. And this is me just being super real with all of it. I know, it sometimes when I tell people I have a podcast, I do it every single day, and it's about endurance, it's about mastery, it's about leadership, it's about becoming the best version of yourself. People almost think that I have it all figured out, but I don't. I am somebody who is working on myself every single day. And that's why I take on endurance challenges. That's why I try and become my best in every area of my life, is just because I want to challenge myself and I want to learn and grow through the process. So as I was talking with Pam, I realized that, I had this underlying negative belief that I couldn't handle it all. And through talking to her, she asked me a few different questions to help me kind of shift my thinking from I can't handle this to I can handle this. And one of the things that she asked is, how have you dealt with this in the past? Is one thing. Another thing is, well, what's an image that you have that can help you get through this moment? What's an image that you have of yourself being successful? And it was when she started to ask that second question that things started to become super clear for me, because it was about a week ago. September 10th is a significant day for me. I talked about it in the podcast with that being the date of the first time that I did Ironman Wisconsin. And I talked about the whole story behind why did I do Ironman Wisconsin. And the main reason why is I wanted to prove to myself that if I could do that, then I could do anything. And there's this picture of me crossing the finish line at Ironman Wisconsin where I cross the finish line and I just kind of erupt with emotion. And it's just kind of like this beast mode type of look that I have on my face. I have both of my fists in the air. I'm, I'm flexing, I'm yelling, I'm just letting out this like roar of energy and emotion. And it's one of my absolute favorite pictures because of what it represents to me. To me, that picture represents that I can do anything. It represents to me all of the obstacles that I took on, all of the physical obstacles that I overcame. It also represents all of the mental obstacles that I overcame. It represents the the journey that I went on for 4 to 5 years from being a total newbie to becoming world class. It represents that you can really become world class at anything if you truly throw yourself in it and dedicate yourself to that. And so, once she asked me that question of what is that image that I have, in my mind of when I was most successful, that was the image that came to mind of me crossing the finish line and just like erupting with emotion. And so as I've been thinking about that conversation, she asked me another question of, how often do you look at that picture? And what I realized is that I only really look at that picture, once a year, maybe when it pops up on my phone on that yearly anniversary. But we started to talk about what would it look like or how would that make me feel if I started to look at that image on a daily basis and remind myself that no matter what throwing myself into, no matter what I'm experiencing, that I can do anything. And what would it look like? What would it feel like to start my day by looking at that image as a reminder, of myself and what I'm capable of? And so I started to get really excited about that, and then ultimately realized, all right, I need something to remind myself of what I'm capable of on a daily basis. And that's where the poster comes in. So what I did is I took that picture on my phone, made it as big as possible through Walgreens, and I now have a poster of myself crossing the finish line at Ironman Wisconsin 4 years ago. It just came in, and I'm actually pretty excited about using that as part of my morning routine or even my nightly routine just to remind myself what I'm capable of. So I just got it. I'm going to put it up. And I was looking at it even before this episode. And it it's really important and it's really special to me because of what it represents. And it represents that if I can do that, then I can do anything. And that's where, I if I look at that on a daily basis, if I look at that in the morning, then I know no matter what I'm going to encounter at work, I know I can get through it. I know I can figure it out. I know that I will be successful, eventually. I know that it's gonna be hard, but I've done hard things in the past and I've been successful with them. So that is what it represents to me, and that's how I'm going to use it going forward. And so as I've been thinking about this concept and thinking about this poster, I wanna bring it back to you because, I wanna ask you that same question of what is an image that you have of yourself that reminds you of what you are capable of? What is that image that when you look at, when you look at it, you just feel successful, you feel confident, you feel energized? Maybe it's something from when you're crossing the finish line at a race, or maybe it's something of you on a run. Maybe it's something of you, playing sports as a kid or when you're younger, or maybe it's you in the boardroom or delivering a presentation or speaking to a group, or maybe it's just you like hanging out with your kids. I don't know what that is, but I think each of us has an image something that reminds us what we're capable of. And I just want to start with that question of what is that image that reminds you of what you're capable of? What's that image that reminds you of your greatness? And I want to ask you that next question of how often do you look at it? How often do you create that feeling of success and excitement and energy? And also, what would it look like to look at that on a daily basis? What would it look like to feel that energy and excitement every single day? So, that is kind of my challenge for you is just first think about what is that image for you that reminds you of your confidence, of your success, of your greatness. And then two, try and find a way to make that a daily habit or a daily reminder. And that, if you do that, I can almost guarantee that you're going to be more confident, you're going to be more excited, and it's going to help you become successful in anything that you're trying to move forward. And that's ultimately what we're trying to talk about here. And that's why I wanted to share this episode with you today. So, if you found any sort of value in today's episode, would you please consider leaving a 5-star review? It would mean so much to me as I get one step closer to doing a podcast every single day for a year. I'm now got less than 50 episodes before I've done a podcast every single day for a year. So, uh, with that, I'm going to sign off, but thanks for listening, and I'll talk to y'all later.